Jazzfan 5000 here to tell you about a system that's not so much a gaming system as it is a home computer. We're talking about the Atari 1040 ST home computer. It was basically built with the musician in mind. It comes equipped with 2 MIDI ports on the side of the machine or on the side of the case, and of course all the connections that you need for any extra peripherals, including a monitor, are on the back of the system, on the back of the case. And of course it comes with its own floppy drive. Now it's a little bit heavy, but it's not overly cumbersome. It is fairly portable. It can be used on location. It was used by musicians on location in different venues, basically for live performances as well as studio performances or studio recording, specifically MIDI recording. There are different peripherals that can be connected to this machine, to this particular system, especially here on the bottom side of the case. There are 2 port connections for a controller, specifically meant for a mouse or a joystick. And this is also good for gaming. There were a lot of games that were produced for the 1040 ST, specifically those that were produced for everything from the 2600 on up to the Atari Jaguar. And we can go ahead and take a look at this system in action. Here it is, right here. Cool. So let's look up some factoids about the Atari ST family of computers, specifically the Atari 1040 ST. It was considered a primary competitor for the Apple Macintosh and the Commodore Amiga systems. And earlier on in the decade, of course, Atari had the home computers, the Atari 400 and the Atari 800, which were basically competitors with the Commodore VIC-20 and the Commodore 64, as well as the Commodore 128. It was good for some small business applications as well as desktop publishing. So the operating system was based on the GEM desktop, and this was developed by Digital Research, who were one of the many software companies working on Windows-based operating systems. The other one was, of course, Microsoft, and there were a few other companies that were involved. The 520 ST was introduced in January of 1985. The 1040 ST was basically an upgrade to the 520 ST, which was introduced in 1986. It doesn't say necessarily which month, but yeah, it was introduced around that time. And there's all kinds of specifications on here about what the 1040 ST did, what kind of RAM it used, what type of processing it used. Of course, it used the Motorola, the old Motorola 68,000 processor. Several different incarnations of the 1040 ST, or the ST family came later. There was the STE models. Of course, that was the 520 STE and the 1040 STE, and then later than that there was the Atari TT as well as the Atari Falcon. Now this says something about the Jaguar that I want to go back to. It says here that there were 2 enhanced joystick ports that were added to the 1040 STE, and they were placed in more easily accessed locations. I showed you where the joystick ports or the connector ports were at the bottom of the 1040, the case housing. These new enhanced joystick ports were more easily accessed, and they were reused, basically reused on the Atari Jaguar console. Now, it doesn't say whether or not these connectors worked or not. I've tried using the Atari Jaguar controller with those connectors, and no. I think there are specific games that you can get where they will work, but I have yet to see them. There are a lot of development applications such as Pascal, Alcyon C, Megamax C, Modula 2, Basic, ST Basic, GFA Basic, and STOS. Games, of course, there are a whole list of games for the Atari ST. Those would also include some of the ones we were familiar with the Atari 2600, including Moon Patrol, Star Raiders, and Defender. And there's a lot more that could be explained about the musician aspect of the Atari 1040 ST. One of the main programs that you can buy for the 1040 ST is Cubase, which has been used by many professional musicians, such artists as Eurythmics, Atari Teenage Riot, Fatboy Slim, Mike Oldfield, and one more, 808 State. So that brings us to the end of another Jazz Fans Picks episode. Hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe to this channel, and until next time, we'll see you around. Happy gaming. Bye-bye now.